Hi everyone, my name is Jo Moley and I am the Student Services Officer for Ireland. Thank you for coming to this presentation or for clicking on it. We will be discussing ISEP's Ireland program at the University College Cork and what to expect while you're abroad. So again, this is me, Jo Moley, your Student Services Officer at ISEP. What we'll be going over today can be covered in 5 different sections. We have culture and daily life, academic matters, health and safety, before you go, and keeping in touch with ISEP. This webinar will last about 30 minutes, and again, I want to thank you for joining us. First off, life in Ireland. There is a very dynamic culture in Ireland. Although people often think of it based on its fraught history or the Troubles, what people may not know is that Ireland also has a fresh, modern take on arts, music, and emerging technologies. It's a major hub for innovation, startups, and research. And so it hosts some of the headquarters of many of the largest financial services and IT companies in the world. There's an Irish word, which I'm not sure how to say, but I think it's craic, C-R-A-I-C, that refers to a sense of living one's life to its fullest. And it's with this adventurous outlook that the young multicultural population of Ireland lives and works. Cork is located in the southwest of Ireland and is the second largest city in the country, so there are ample opportunities to enjoy student life. The city has a very affordable cost of living, an abundance of food markets and restaurants, entertainment, and it's generally very inclusive and welcoming. And then outside of the city, you'll find the Blarney, which is green landscapes, hikeable hills, fishing towns, just kind of small town Ireland for you to explore. And then something important to note is that the Republic of Ireland is not part of the UK, so it is still part of the European Union post-Brexit. Northern Ireland, which is in darker green on the map on the slide, is part of the UK. So the climate in Ireland is often rainy and wet, and you can expect the weather to be somewhat overcast and chilly. This primary language in Ireland is English, although the Irish language, known as Gaelic, is also one of the official languages of the country. Many Irish can understand some of the Irish language, but English is much more widely spoken. The transportation is very easy to access for students. You should look into student discounts on transit cards because that'll save you some money. The folk art, music, and storytelling scene are also a vital part of Ireland and Irish culture. Thousands participate in the country's numerous amateur musical, dance, and storytelling events, and many people also engage in a variety of craft-based industries, producing items such as glass, ironwork, linens, knitwear, and all of that occurs under the Crafts Council of Ireland, which is based in Kilkenny. You'll find too that pubs are the center of public life in Ireland. The legal drinking age is 18, but we do encourage you to be responsible and remember that while you're abroad, you're representing your country, your home university, and ISEP. But you'll find that pubs are a place where the great Irish passion for conversation, music, and jokes can take place, and I'm sure you'll spend a lot of fun time there. Interpersonal relationships in Ireland too should be highlighted. There's a couple quick tips that we have. The Irish tend towards informality, but there is some etiquette that you might not expect. First, when meeting people for the first time and when saying goodbye, it's appropriate to shake hands. And just like in the US, your handshake should be firm and you should make eye contact. Also, female friends may be greeted with a single air kiss, which is common in other parts of Europe as well. In conversation, the Irish are generally friendly but can be reserved, and topics that might embarrass others are avoided. They tend to also mistrust people who overshare. So keep that in mind. That's a little different in some other countries. And then, as you might expect, politics and religion can be touchy subjects, given the country's the country's past with the Troubles. So it's recommended that visitors do their best not to make assertions or assumptions, especially in mixed company. And most Irish enjoy witty humor as well as sarcasm and slagging, which is insulting and teasing in a fun way. And this humor is well intended and not meant to be perceived negatively, so don't take it personally. Housing at Cork is student housing, so you can expect to live in an up-to-date furnished apartment. You'll have your own single room with a bed and desk, and then share your apartment in the common areas with 3 to 5 other students who also each have their private room. So this living area will include a den type, common area and a kitchen with standard appliances. You'll be offered this housing as part of your acceptance process with Cork, and you'll be placed in your housing through the UCC Accommodation and Community Life Office. Please note that some halls may or may not include cooking facilities, laundry, telephone, and internet, or other, common meeting space outside of your actual apartment. So look into that before you leave and familiarize yourself with what you can expect. Meals at Cork are not included in the ISEP program fee, so students should be prepared to bring their own funds for use in university cafes and local grocery stores. ISEP recommends taking a look at the amount that you pay at home per semester for meals or your meal plan, and then using that sum as a starting point for budgeting for meals. The 3 biggest grocery stores in Ireland are Dunnes, SuperValu, and Tesco, all of which should be easily accessible from campus. And then just some notes on Irish cuisine. In many minds, Ireland is still associated with the Great Potato Famine of the mid-19th century. So that has produced a lasting but very misleading image of scarcity. But right now, in the present, Ireland has a very vibrant food culture, especially in major cities like Cork, so you should be excited. Throughout Ireland, this food culture has developed, drawing from local traditions and local produce, and also just taking influence from all sorts of different cultures and cuisines. The full Irish breakfast, which is pictured on the screen, is very similar to its British breakfast counterpart. So it consists, at a minimum, eggs and bacon, but usually also has black pudding, white pudding, beans, or mushrooms. And bread plays a major role in Ireland's culinary identity as a whole. Soda bread and brown bread are farmhouse standards, but versions using potatoes, tomatoes, and various herbs are now also super common. And a quick tip, when you're at the pub for lunch, order a carvery, which is a lunch consisting of slices of slow-cooked meat and gravy, mashed potato, and vegetables. And some Irish specialties to look out for include colcannon, which is a buttery potato mash with kale stirred in, boxty, a fluffy potato flatbread that can be used like pita bread kind of, and coddle, which is a rich stew of sausages, potatoes, carrots, bacon, and whatever else is around. The restaurant scene in Cork is typical of the restaurant scene of really any major city. You'll find cafes, pubs, various restaurants of different cultures, and there's also well-regarded nightlife in Cork. Throughout Ireland, there's nightlife that ranges from, quiet nights out in country towns to serious clubbing in major cities. Some tipping advice: at bars and pubs, tipping is uncommon. Tipping bartenders in Ireland is rare, but also you could consider just rounding up your bill or leaving small change as kind of an informal tip. And if your bartender really went above and beyond and you want to show your appreciation, you can offer to treat them to a drink. At restaurants, you'll probably have your service charge already added to your bill, so you should check for that. And then if that's the case, you don't have to tip anymore. Although if you're extra happy with your service, you're welcome to. And if you're unsure if that service charge has been added, then definitely add 10, 15% or round up to the nearest even amount on your total bill. Something kind of fun that you might run into when you're in Ireland is the tradition of luck money. So after you pay for something, the other person might hand you back a coin or small bill for good luck, which in theory will ensure that you bring your business back to them. So you can think of it kind of like a reverse tip. This is probably not going to happen at a hotel or restaurant or pub, but it could definitely happen when you're shopping in a market or a family-owned shop. So the internet across Ireland should be pretty reliable, especially in cities or very populated areas. Some smaller towns or rural, less developed locations could have less reliable connection, so keep that in mind when traveling. In terms of cell service, the 3 main Irish network operators are IR, Three, and Vodafone, and all other mobile networks in the country run their services through one of those providers. So those are the three that you should look out for. As a general recommendation, look into your home network's data roaming plan before you go, or plan to purchase a SIM card for one of those major in-country networks. I've often found that a SIM card is a more reliable option, but if you're going down that route, then make sure that your phone is unlocked before you go abroad, which you can do by calling your home service provider. The currency in Ireland is the euro. It is part of the EU. So there are 7 euro notes ranging from 5 to 500 and 8 euro coins ranging from 1 to 50 cents, and then 1 and 2 euro coins. It's smart to keep track of exchange rates between the euro and your home currency to make sure you don't overspend, and you can find those online. Banking in Ireland is fairly similar to in other countries, such as the US and the UK. So banks in Ireland open on weekdays around 9:30 or 10 a.m. and then close around 4 or 4:30 p.m. Most banks will also have 1 day per week where they will remain open till 5 p.m. And at main branch offices in towns and cities, you'll often find that they have some Saturday hours from like 10 to 1, more or less. If you open an Irish bank account, you'll probably be provided with a combined ATM and debit card called a laser card that'll make paying for things a lot easier while abroad. And then ATMs are common across the country, but definitely make sure to investigate what ATMs are close to Cork, the school, UCC, and within the city of Cork, so that you end up opening an account with a relevant bank. Most banks will also have an option for a student account that could have rewards or benefits, but definitely make sure to read the terms and conditions before opening an account. So sports are much loved in Ireland. Football and rugby are two of the most popular sports in Ireland. Obviously, football is soccer in the US. The Irish are also extremely passionate about horse racing, and every year there is an Irish Derby that draws competitors from all over Europe. There are also popular traditional Irish sports that many people partake in, including Gaelic football, which is a mix of football and rugby, hurling, which is kind of like aggressive field hockey, handball, and those are just kind of 3 top of many Irish sports. All of them are promoted by the Gaelic Athletic Association, or GAA, which was founded in 1884 to revive native Irish sports. And today there are hundreds of thousands of members of the GAA, both amateur and professional, and the professional teams compete in all Ireland matches that draw big crowds. So that's definitely a fun thing as an exchange student you might want to seek out. The major holidays to keep in mind are Easter, which occurs in April or May, depending on when it falls that year. Ireland celebrates the entire week before Easter as Holy Week, so schools and businesses will be closed all week, but not restaurants and pubs for the most part. Then the first Monday of May is May Day, which is also called the Celtic Beltane Festival and marks the beginning of summer. It's a national holiday, but it's mostly celebrated in the countryside, and it's associated with many ancient traditions. For example, on the eve of the festival, people used to scatter buttercups or yellow flowers around their houses to keep away evil spirits and witches. Christmas and New Year are celebrated as a family. Families tend to exchange gifts on the morning of December 25th and celebrate with dinner in the late afternoon. And then the next day, December 26th, is St. Stephen's Day, and it's very similar to Boxing Day in the UK. Life kind of returns to normal after a quiet Christmas. Stores are open for shopping. It's a little bit like Black Friday in terms of sales. And typically on that day, the Irish visit relatives and friends. Of course, there's St. Patrick's Day, which is celebrated all over the world, but originated in Ireland. There are street parades all over the country, usually lots of live music, parties, and evening events. And while St. Patrick's Day was originally celebrated as the bringing of Christianity to Ireland, now it is pretty much totally secular, celebrated by drinking and wearing green. All Hallows Eve is kind of like Halloween in the US, and actually Halloween traditions as we know them began with the Celtic festival of Samhain, or Summer's End in Old Irish. On Halloween in Ireland, people traditionally eat a dish called colcannon and then another dish called barmbrack, and both dishes are served together, and the person who baked them includes a ring or charm in the dishes, and whoever finds the ring or charm is considered blessed with good luck. And then just a quick note on culture shock. Culture shock is normal and it probably will happen. I like this graph. It shows how you'll kind of be on a high at arrival. You're excited, things are new. Then you might dip a little, get homesick, but as you adjust, you'll recover, adapt, and have a great time. When you return home, you can also expect some reverse culture shock, which works in much the same way. But again, super normal. Remember that your friends, your family, and ISEP are here for you. And these are some quotes from past ISEP students. I'm not going to read them now, but definitely pause this presentation when it's sent out to you so you can read their reflections. And moving on to academics. So the higher education system in Ireland is called the third level education system. It includes all education after second level or high school, including universities, colleges, and trade schools. And undergraduate programs typically are 3 years long. Interestingly, admissions to higher education is usually done through the Central Applications Office, meaning that students who wish to enter university apply to this office rather than directly to individual universities. And admissions programs are normally, or admissions to programs are normally awarded based on students' results in the leaving certificate examination or an international equivalent, which in the US case would probably be the SATs. So each university has its own minimum requirements, and same with each program within the university. And third level attendance is generally very high among Irish students. So a lot of students go to university. I'll actually go back to some local terminology, which is important for you to know before you get there. So a course is the word used to refer to a complete degree program or a preset plan of a major. And then a module is the word used for class or course. A joint honors degree is a double major. Marks are the same as grades like A or B. Postgraduate means graduate. And then school refers to kind of a K to 12 primary school, not a university or college. And college refers to high school or a program within a university. So you'll get used to that, but it is a little different. So on campus at UCC, the international office is super devoted to supporting international students and making sure their stay at UCC is as successful as possible. They host a variety of events each semester, including a 2-week welcome program, and all of this is designed to help students get to know Cork. So ISEP students studying at UCC will be part of a vibrant community of over 3,000 international students, and they'll be able to join numerous clubs on campus where they can meet other exchange students and also Irish students. Cork's campus is located on 42 acres of wooded ground, and it's just 1 mile from Cork's city center. Cork is Ireland's second largest city, so there are tons of opportunities to connect with locals and enjoy yourself there. And then also there's really easy transportation with 2 bus routes that pass right through campus and take you to the center of town, and bike paths and bike rental services. So additionally, the International Airport at Cork provides daily links to mainland Europe. So if you want to travel around Europe during your time at UCC, that'll be super easy and convenient. And also it's important to note that UCC really takes environmental friendliness seriously. They're the world's first green flag campus, which means they have pioneered sustainable practices and provide a safe and friendly environment for all degree students and exchange students. Similar to many European educational systems, high grades in Irish universities are rare and require exceptional achievement. So the grading scale ranges from 0 to 100%, as you can see on the slide. 1H or first class honors would be if you earned over 70% on an assessment or a course, or a module rather. And then A pass is really anything greater than 40 to 44%. So don't freak out if you get a 50% or a 60% on an assignment or a class. You are doing okay. That is a pass. It's just a little different from your home system. Autumn exams occur in December, and exact dates will be provided by UCC at a later point, while spring and summer exams occur in April and May. So please note that there is a possibility of exam timetable conflicts occurring if you're taking modules across different departments. If this happens, then you just need to contact the UCC International Office and your ISEP coordinator, your host ISEP coordinator, to discuss alternative arrangements. The credit system and course load information starts with visa requirements. So if you're from outside of the EU, you must complete a minimum of 15 hours scheduled contact time per week in order to qualify for an Irish student visa. So you have to go to class. An overview of Cork's system. At Cork, students are able to choose modules available to incoming students in the Visiting Students Module Guide, which is on the ISEP program page. Students can enroll in multiple disciplines and departments and will take an average of 4 to 6 modules per semester for a maximum of 30 ECTs, which is about equal to 15 US credits. Most modules you'll find will be 5 ECTs, just as a point of reference. Your transcript at the end of your program will be sent to ISEP Global, our main office, a few weeks after your term abroad ends. You'll have to be sure to check with your host coordinator to ensure that all is completed to allow for a timely release of your transcript, and more detailed information about that can be found in your ISEP acceptance package. Registration at Cork occurs before you actually arrive on campus. It will happen prior to arrival and digitally. So fall semester registration takes place in August. Spring semester registration will take place in November, and there will be a period of time to make changes during the first week of the semester. So don't be too concerned if you show up to a class and it doesn't seem like a great fit. You can work with your ISEP host coordinator to amend that. So classes at UCC are typically in the form of lectures, workshops, and seminars. In lectures, teachers will basically talk the entire allotted time, and then workshops and seminars are based on these lectures and are designed to delve further into material and be able to discuss content with the teachers and your classmates. The structure of classes and the classroom culture will vary depending on the type of module. Some are more hands-on, others are more, traditional lectures, but Irish universities typically emphasize writing. So modules may require essays throughout the semester. Professors will expect you to be independent and resourceful in regards to assignments. You might find that guidelines are a bit more vague than the guidelines you would receive at home, but questions are welcome. So definitely reach out to your professors with questions, and also don't hesitate to reach out to your host ISEP coordinator if you're having any struggles. So the UCC autumn term runs from August or September through December. Students are responsible for staying until the end of their semester unless they receive specific approval from their host university to return early, and ISEP can't guarantee that. The spring term at UCC is January through May, and then the academic year term is August or September through May. That August start date would be for students registering for an early start program, maybe a supplementary language program, something like that. And then students coming for the regular autumn semester would start in September. Now to health and safety. So you can find plenty of health and safety resources in your ISEP portal under the While Abroad tab. Definitely review those resources now before you leave. Some of the information you'll find there includes phone numbers for medical attention, mental health services, and emergency situations. And I would put those numbers in your phone now so that they're on hand if you need them. The first thing that we recommend is to review the ISEP country handbook, so the Ireland handbook for your host country. And then you should also watch the ISEP health and safety pre-departure orientation video, which has been emailed to you, so check your email. If you want further details, you can search for ISEP's health and safety policy on our website. a big tip is that if you will need access to regular medication during your study abroad period, please coordinate with your doctor in your home country to figure out a plan before you leave. You're really going to have two options. One would be to bring a full supply of your medication on your study abroad program. The other would be to coordinate with a local provider ahead of time to ensure that you can get your prescription filled. Your host coordinator, when you get there, will give an on-site orientation that is mandatory to attend, and that will include more specific health and safety information. So all of you guys should go to that and learn those important facts. And then finally, in the case of an emergency during business hours, contact your host coordinator. But then after business hours, you can always call the ISEP 24/7 emergency line, and the number's on the screen. Note that this is only for true emergencies, not just inconveniences such as trouble registering for courses. In general, for personal safety, ISEP recommends that you just use common sense to stay safe. So definitely always be aware of and comply with federal and local laws. Be aware of your surroundings as well, and travel in pairs or small groups rather than alone, especially at night. There are some other common sense strategies on the screen. And some Ireland specific health and safety information. So the emergency number, like our 911 in the US, is 999 or 112. And these are actually the emergency phone numbers for the rest of the EU and the UK as well. So if you're traveling outside of Ireland, those will be easy to remember. So 122 or 112 and 999 work in all EU countries, as I said, and can be dialed free of charge from any phone, even one with no credit or without a local SIM card. So it's important to call the number if you need to, even if you're worried about data. So the police in Ireland are known as the Gardaí or Garda, but people will know what you mean if you just say police. Except for some special Garda units, which are deployed only in response to specific threats, Irish police are unarmed. There's also an agency called the Irish Tourist Assistance Service, or ITAS, that offers free support and practical help to victims of crime. This includes interfacing with travel companies and financial institutions, and in emergency situations, arranging accommodation and transport for tourists. So the order of operations is that if you are a victim of a crime, you should first report the crime to the nearest police station, and then that police station will contact the ITAS. I'll actually go back to this. I just want to quickly review some ISEP health insurance information. So all ISEP students must enroll in the ISEP insurance policy and the MAIOR plan. So if you fail to enroll, then your acceptance cannot be finalized. So you definitely have to enroll. And your insurance policy's dates must cover the entire program period listed in your program acceptance package. So should begin before the official arrival date and end at least one day after the last date of benefits. There are a few exceptions if you're an EU citizen who resides in the EU and is studying abroad in Ireland, which is part of the EU, or an EU citizen who resides outside of the EU and is studying abroad in Ireland. You may be exempt from enrolling in ISEP insurance, but you have to provide a copy of your European health insurance card to ISEP in order to prove that you're exempt. And even under this circumstance, you must enroll in the MAIOR plan. Finally, know before you go. So packing is difficult. Remember not to pack too much, and also remember to pack depending on your host city's weather and culture and your personal preferences. If you don't wear something at home, you're probably not going to wear it abroad. So don't pack it. Keep your packing as light as possible. Keep in mind the toiletries, medications, and electrical needs that you'll have while abroad. The plugs might be different than in your home country, so I would look that up and purchase converters before you leave so that you can charge your phone as soon as you get there. Also, always print out paper copies of important documents and carry them in your carry-on so that they're on your person no matter where your luggage is. And make sure to check your pre-departure information in your ISEP portal and check if you need, which will tell you if you need to bring things such as sheets and towels, or if that's provided by your host university. There are a couple things that we also need you to do before leaving. First is paying your program fee 30 days before your start date. Then definitely, as I have already mentioned, check your data plan with your phone provider to see what the best communication option for you will be. Make sure you know the date and location of your host site orientation and write down the address of your host site and your dorm and any other important locations that you're aware of ahead of time, and carry that piece of paper in your carry-on, again, so that it's on your person no matter what happens. And same with, similar to that, make electronic copies of all of your important documents so that you have those on file and easily accessible no matter what. Keeping in touch. Please determine before you leave how you plan to stay in touch with your family and friends back home. I recommend WhatsApp, Signal, Zoom, FaceTime, or any other Wi-Fi based communication service so you don't have to incur fees or data roaming or anything like that. And remember to contact your family once you arrive safely so that they're not too worried. And finally, stay connected with us. Stay connected with ISEP's office, other ISEP students, join our Facebook group, follow us on social media, and don't forget to tag us, hashtag ISEP Study Abroad. We really love hearing about your adventures. You can always email your SSO or, tag us in a post. It's the best for us to see you guys having fun. So thank you so much. Best of luck on your next adventure. This is going to be a great time for you all. And yeah, safe travels.